humans are an incredibly resilient species, and we'll have our own mutations against what's being done to us. The system knows that. And there will be a cultural, societal, genetic race memory through all of the derivations of Homo sapiens sapien and hybrid Homo sapiens sapiens. And there will be a conscious response, a subconscious response, a mass subconscious response that the establishment's fully aware of and trying to gauge and control and placate through movies and culture that are giving us simulated race consciousness victories, while on the physical plane, we are being destroyed. And that's why you're seeing so many Hollywood films come out basically telling the truth, decrying the police state, decrying the technocracy, decrying those that don't want us to get off the planet, decrying the eugenicist, is because it's a revelation of the method. And even the producers and writers of those films don't understand this until they're told it by people like me. And then their mouths hang open and they say, that's why they wouldn't let us do this in the past, but now it's not just about the money because freedom is popular. That's why we were approached by the CIA. That's why we were approached by MIT. That's why we were approached by the Ford Foundation or Carnegie Endowment for Peace. That's why they made recommendations of changes, because they're just giving you a revelation of the method of what they're doing, so your subconscious mind is prepared and comfortable with the death of the species. And out of that mutagenic abomination, they believe will rise the mutated human species to merge with the computers, to merge with the silicon life form, and the new species will be born, and it might as well as be as alien as something from 1 trillion light years away coming through a wormhole. But it won't come from a wormhole, and it won't come from the Horsehead Nebula. It will come from this planetoid orbiting that standard sun. Remember that. When you sit here and think this is whacked out stuff, you are on a planetoid orbiting a sun. An asteroid belt and Mars lay out towards the gas giants and the Kuiper Belt. And the great long march of our species, the nomads, and our love of inventiveness and of working together against impossible odds and against creatures far more powerful than us. We have conquered the planet. And we're sold that that's an evil idea and a bad thing because they don't want you to admire yourself. They don't want you to have that dignity of where you come from as a species. That's why the most low of us still is an amazing creature. But they've been turned into golem-like creatures scrabbling after the signets and symbols of success, the logos of power, not the true power that already beats in your breast as the blue blood pours through your veins and arteries. And no, I'm not saying we're all blue bloods. Your blood is blue. It's blue in your veins and red in your arteries. When it spills out on the ground, it's black. And it's destined to colonize the universe. And these evil priests of the Illuminati sitting there as the preachers up in their pulpits, up in their satanic command bases, tell you you're destined to fall, you're destined to fail, you're destined to die, you're destined to roll over, you're destined to submit. And that when you act like a lowly coward rolling around on the ground, you'll be teleported out. Every time I see these emails and texts about, you shouldn't say you defend your family if a killer came in your house. Christ wouldn't do that. You should lay down when an intruder comes and pee on them. Those are the comments on YouTube. That's what the feds advise. Of course, Christ said, sell your garment by a sword. Christ beat the money changers with a whip. All the other prophets, you name it, didn't go along with what they were ordered to do. They stood. John the Baptist, all of them. Christ gave himself up as a sacrifice to be abused and to be tortured as an example. To be the phoenix rising from the ashes. Christ was there to take the fall and rise again. Christ was there to be martyred. That's why he let them kill him. Not because Christians are supposed to lie down and be murdered. Stay with us. Because in the Homeland Security reports, they say the veterans are the new terrorists. There was another report out yesterday with a police chief saying they need the MRAPs to fight returning veterans, the armored vehicles. And they just keep saying, veterans will IED, improvised explosive device, your department. That's in federal documents, been in the news for 5-6 years, that they tell them, you're training to fight veterans, they're going to bomb you. You know, cops, let me just say something, because I know you're not stupid when it comes to criminal stuff on average. You probably know more about it than the public, I'll say that. Even though they're trying to hire dumb detectives and people now because criminals run the government and don't want to be found out. And that's on record as well. If there's no crime going on, if somebody keeps saying that house is going to get burned down, that house is going to get burned down, and files a bunch of reports in a year, and there's no evidence and no suspect, and then the house burns down, who do you go talk to? You go talk to the person that keeps saying somebody's going to burn that church down, or somebody's going to burn that down, or somebody's going to throw Molotov cocktails at the governor's mansion. You go to that person because obviously they're the prime suspect, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to end up being them. Inside job. So they just keep saying, in fact, that's scrolled off. That's in Featured News Archive. Will you print me that? The headline's like, Top Cop says MRAPs are for the Tea Party, and then it gets into veterans in the article. And the Pentagon trains for that. The Tea Party's not doing anything. Has the lowest crime rate in all the statistics out there. Conservatives, libertarians, Christians, everybody knows that. It's in the criminology reports. So why is that the main threat? Because you're not criminals. That's why. Because the government's planning stuff so evil, so over the top, so criminal, the illegitimate government, that it wants to get the cops ready and tell you that's the enemy. Well, you're not stupid, police. Don't you have a lot more in common with the vets? Most of you are vets than you do with the scumbag politicians that have run this country in the ground intentionally. So that's what I think about on Veterans Day. And I think about on Veterans Day the fact that what they're doing in Obamacare and the rationing and the death list and the death panels and all the things that have now been admitted has been tested out at least the last 6 years, 7 years. It did get worse under Obama. You just can't deny it. They started putting the veterans by the tens of thousands a year on a no treatment list. Now, it's the law to treat them. The money's been paid to treat them. It's not that you don't have the money to treat them. You just give them pills, and it's a death panel. It's a bioethics committee. You hear them saying, don't, kill kids up to age 5, kill old people. This is what's going on. This is being sold that, hey, you're of no use. We're going to kill you. Hey, grandma's of no use. Throw it down a well. This is such a barbarous society. We've had VA supervisors on record before all this broke saying older veterans should be shot in the head to save money. We reported that before the veteran scandal broke. That's their attitude towards them. We have major whistleblowers on. That whistleblower is in the top 5 people in the hospital, in the huge medical facility. They're happy to say they're a director. We got all their credentials, but we didn't use their name. Major East Coast facility, one of the biggest in the country. And the attitude is, we hate the veterans. By the administrators. The rank and file are trying to help on average. It's the same in every organization. It's the same story. So that's what I'm talking about on Veterans Day. And we come back, I'm going to get into Obama over in Asia, and I'm going to get into depopulation vaccine in Kenya, mainstream news, sterilizing Africans via the shots. The UN's been caught. They now have major Catholic bishops going public and scientists. I mean, they're caught red-handed. But it's Africa, so they're just like, oh, nobody cares. Like over here, nobody cares. Gardasil shots killing people. It's not just that they're black Africans. People don't care, period. It's this attitude of, well, yeah, 60,000 kids got paralyzed after they took the Bill and Melinda Gates polio vaccine in 1 year alone in India. 64,000, I think the number was. Big deal. Just, yeah, a bunch of them died. Big deal. Let's move along now, okay, to how scary the boogeyman is under the table. But when we come back, the University of Pennsylvania deleted the Obamacare architect video after backlash and told Fox News they couldn't air it. It's fair use to air 30 seconds of something, especially when it's a public university. And guess what, scumbags? You may have censored the video. We're going to play it over and over again now, okay? Remember the guy that said, yeah, Americans are dumb idiots. Yeah, we're screwing them over.
We're on the